it was a huge party for the whole team, and we had some fun. So I was up pretty late. It was my first official party
Ever?
ever,
What?
but I didn't drink. I was hammered on water. Don't worry.
What do you mean never been to a party? Like that was your first time being around a collection of people celebrating something?
Yeah, kind of.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports, brought to you by our very good friends at Chevy EVs. A big show. We got two guests on this show, in theory. We're in a weird spot where we have recorded with one of them. We have not recorded with the second. But I do believe you're going to have Tommy Fleetwood on this show, who's going to come second. And the next voice you're going to hear that's not one of these four is going to be Tom Kim, the international hero, the lightning rod from the President's Cup, who won the Wyndham Championship, which is one of my favorite tournaments now, in Greensboro just a couple months ago, is going to grace us with his presence on this very show. Extremely excited to talk to Tom Kim, boys.
Tommy, bunch of Tommies, just two Tommies.
Oh, true.
Yeah, the Toms.
That's a strong show, though. Tommy Fleetwood, one of the best characters in the golf world, even though he doesn't even try and be. Just like looking at Tommy Fleetwood, he's a character. He's got the hair, he's got the look. We've got the history with him where I said he fucks. It didn't really go over well, but now we're best friends with him. And then, yeah, Tom Kim is just an electric factory. He kind of just took everyone by storm at this President's Cup. I mean, we had Danny Rappaport kind of letting us know that this was coming. He saw this storm coming, and then it still hit you like a ton of bricks. Like I still wasn't prepared for it. It's like, who the hell is this guy going fucking nuts? So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to him.
I think this was a massive week for Tom Kim, and I know that because it, like, some of my friends who aren't really huge golf fans were like, "Whoa, this guy's electric!" Like, you didn't need to be a golf fan to realize that what he was doing out there was not normal, and I thought it was awesome that it kind of got under the American skin a little bit, and then afterwards they were like taking pictures and everyone was good, which just goes to show you, like, all is fair in love and war and team competitions. Like, you can do whatever you want. Afterwards, everyone's going to have a drink together and hang out. So it was really cool to see Tom Kim kind of piss all the Americans off, and then they all kind of embraced him afterwards.
That is a good measure of it when people who aren't golf fans start texting you. I remember the early days of Bryson DeChambeau. We've now gone down that rabbit hole a million miles. But in the early days of Bryson, we would be getting texts from people at Barstool who weren't golf fans being like, what's the deal with this guy? So that's, hopefully it doesn't end that way, but hopefully, I think Tom Kim's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's great. It's cool. I would say in the U.S. too, in our market, there hasn't really been, for the most part, an Asian player that breaks out personality-wise, right? There's been Hideki won the Masters, and the whole scene afterwards with his caddy, who also had an amazing scene after the President's Cup where everybody on the U.S. team signed his body, which was phenomenal. Clearly, that guy's a beauty. Fun fact, we have a signed Barstool T-shirt from that moment. We sold the moment where he took the flag and bowed to the golf course, Augusta National, on the 18th hole. We sold that on T-shirts and then sent a bunch to Hideki and his caddy because they literally requested them. And then his caddy signed one, thank you Barstool, in Japanese and sent it back. And we actually have that. If we ever get our own studio or something like that, or if I make a studio, maybe I'll put that in my studio. But anyways, long story short, there really has not been an Asian player that personality-wise I feel like has broken through. Clearly there are cultural barriers. Clearly there are often language barriers. And even someone like Hideki, who's awesome and I think very well liked, he's pretty quiet, sticks to himself. He's very modest. Tom Kim seems like he could be this, one of the first Asian players in the PGA Tour who breaks through not only, golf-wise and the energy, but personality-wise. It feels like he's breaking through pretty quickly. He's only 20 years old. And that just seems like it's been very rare.
It has been rare, and I think it's, you always cringe when you say, like, oh, the language barrier, because you don't know if that's going to, like, come off the wrong way, but it's right. Just true, right? Like, it's just, Hideki Matsuyama is a massive, massive star in Japan, like an enormous, enormous star. He's everywhere. He's all over billboards. I've been there. He's everywhere. But in the U.S., I mean, he doesn't speak English publicly, so it's just hard. It's just hard for fans to identify with someone who they feel like they can't communicate with directly. It's always through an interpreter. So, and it's not just that Tom Kim, speaks English. He speaks perfect English. Like, he's completely, completely fluent. and he's funny and he's smart and he's driven. And yeah, I think you're right, Wittigs. He does have this unique potential to combine these two massive markets where he's going to be a huge star in Asia. I'm sure he already is a huge star in Korea. And I think he's going to be a huge star here because, everyone loves the guy who stars on the losing team, right? Because they're so unthreatening, right? It's like, oh, I love Tom Kim. He was awesome, right? He didn't beat us. It wasn't like I hate him. He was awesome.
Cute. It was cute out there. It was
exactly.
Great. Yeah.
That's the exact thought I had or seeing the President's Cup post-party pictures was like, oh, this guy's great, and he's not really a threat to us because we've won 12 of these in a row or whatever.
Yes.
He's not a threat.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to him. I'm really, really pumped to talk to him. I think he's going to be great on the show. And then we have Tommy Fleetwood, who, like Frankie said, we have a funny history with Tommy Fleetwood. He's pretty dry sense of humor, but a great one. He clearly exhibits that with us. And then we talk a lot about, he was pumped about the President's Cup. He said that he watched as much of it as he could. He lives in Dubai now, which we get into. And we spoke about Ryder Cup performances, especially 2018 in Paris, when he and Francesco Molinari just were unstoppable basically as a team. They dusted a bunch of US. He beat Tiger Woods 3 different times that week. So we get into a lot of cool stuff with Tommy Fleetwood. We get into some TaylorMade equipment stuff, the picks balls that he uses. So a little bit, we're very, the foreplay difference is that we'll go weeks without an interview. And then in one show, we're going to have 2 huge interviews. So you just don't know what the fuck we're doing. We don't really know what we're doing. But I'm pumped that people are going to get this show that's going to have 2 huge interviews in it.
Yeah.
And right now we're trying to stay restrained. We don't want to bury the interviews, so we're just I think it's a fair point. Riggs texted before being like, yeah, we don't want to bury these interviews, and he's right, because we have a tendency to have sweet interviews like we do on this show and then just talk for an hour and a half about God knows what.
So we might as well talk about the planetary defense thing that went on yesterday then right now, because we have about 20 minutes.
Let's talk about Chevy first. Can we do that?
It's even more important. Honestly, planetary defense seems like the most important thing in the universe, but I think Chevy might be more important.
Yeah, I agree. From Bolt to Blazer, Equinox to Silverado, Chevy EVs are for everyone, everywhere. I got a Chevy Malibu that I was driving around, a rental car that I was driving around Connecticut. Just a classy car. I know they want us to focus on the EVs. Few of Chevrolet's beloved best-selling models have been designed as electric vehicle models powered by Ultium. Chevrolet has electric vehicles available now. Buy now the Bolt EV, the Bolt EUV. Reserve now the Blazer EV, which is what I'm going to probably get, and the Silverado EV. They're affordable. You don't have to be rich to have an EV with an established full-line brand like Chevrolet, and that is true. They are established, and I think we said 1934 they invented the first ever sport utility vehicle. Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
I believe that's correct. And, we're getting to the
Depression. They're
crazy.
Cranking out fucking sports utility
vehicles.
vehicles.
Also getting to the point with electric vehicles where we've surpassed where it's like impossible to get one. And now Chevy is proving that everyone can get one. There was a time where it was like, whoa, the elite of the elite in the world can only get an electric vehicle. It is the newest technology. It's so expensive. It's impossible to get charging. Now, Chevy has a full fleet of electric vehicles. We've now gotten into that part of the future where 15 years ago that felt like it was impossible. And Chevy's now rolled out all different variations. They have regular sedans. They have SUVs. It's insane what they're able to do now. So now everyone can have one.
It's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. So well done, Chevy. We appreciate you. EVs for everyone, everywhere. Go check them out. Chevrolet. We love Chevy. Couple things of note. Tonight, New York Islanders 4-man scramble is out.
Wow.
It's going to be on the YouTube page.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Amazing work by the fellas behind the scenes.
That is fast.
Brendan Jones, Alex Bush. We got a new guy. We got a couple new guys behind the scenes. We've had Jake Basswell. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what the hell they're doing back there. But
Kyle,
they just never
Ryan,
leave the cave.
Max.
Jeez, we got a whole
names
fucking team
coming at you like you wouldn't fucking believe. I never even met these human beings, and they're cranking out our videos. So extremely well done by the crew.
So we're actually going to be releasing this video at noon today. Islanders 4-man scramble. We're putting it out at 12 o'clock Eastern time. We didn't want to step on any toes with the Barstool mini golf competition that's going on tonight. So that's on the main YouTube page, but on Foreplay Golf YouTube page today, noon. We're all going to be in the chat. Make sure you watch this video. This is going to be a big one for me. I mean, it's my childhood team. It's my current team. It's the team that I wake up They're the reason I wake up, honestly, the New York Islanders. So the fact that we were able to play them in a match is fucking insane. 12 o'clock, noon Eastern. Let's go. It's going to be an amazing video. These guys are hilarious. The match is incredible. So let's all watch it, and we'll be there in the chat. Make sure you join us.
YouTube, Fore Play Golf. Check that bitch out tonight. We got the New York Islanders. Your squad, Frankie.
Oh my
as big
God.
a game as you've ever played in.
This is as big of a game. Yeah, I mean, the kid
On
that
Long Island. We played on Long
Oh,
Island.
we played at Glen Oaks, which is as elite of a golf course as you can possibly play at. The place looks like fucking Augusta National. Honestly, if you just want to see what Glen Oaks looks like on drone and on our cool cameras, that's worth the click right there.
Right.
I mean, it's a very exclusive golf course, and I'm very happy, and I think we should all be very proud that we were able to get onto that course and film it. I mean, I don't know how many people can do
Really
that.
proud.
It's crazy.
I feel prideful for sure.
It is a prideful moment. But yeah, Craig over there, the super, he's disgustingly good at his job. He used to work at Augusta. Now he works at Glen Oaks. So, I mean, he's got that place completely dialed in. I mean, Section 221 row AC 5 and 6, I was sitting there for every single game for 10 years from when I was 7 to 17. I mean, you're talking about the fact that I'm going to be out there with Matt Barzell, Anders Lee, Cal Clutterbuck, and Brock Nelson playing in a competition. Come on, man. That video is going to be insane to rewatch. I mean, Brendan's texting me saying it's one of the funniest ones we've done just because these guys they're hockey guys, number one, which always just delivers in the banter. And number two, they've played together their whole professional lives. Like Brock Nelson and Anders Lee have come up together. They've never been on another team. Barzell's never been on another team. Clutterbuck's been there for 7 or 8 years at this point. So, I mean, they're very unique in the fact that they've grown up together. And 4 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them on that core team they're so tight in their family. So you'll see that pretty evidently in this video that they are just the tightest group of guys of all time.
So scrambles tonight. Check that out on our YouTube page. And then other than that, we got the 2 interviews coming up. We got to talk about Frankie. The most pressing thing probably to any human in the world that has a brain similar to yours is what's going on now?
So NASA yesterday intentionally slammed one of their, I think they're calling it the dart. They slammed their dart into a asteroid 7 million miles away, and apparently it was a successful mission. The video is very suspect, I will say that. I mean, it's like the clearest, most zoomed in video of an asteroid being hit from 7 million miles away that you could possibly imagine. It clearly looks like a video that
my dad told me about this yesterday. This is big news.
They clearly just CGI'd it, but here's the real it's obviously a fake video. I mean, if you guys have seen the video, it's the most fake video you've ever seen in your entire life. But the thing I want to talk about is the fact that the movie This Is Don't Look Up came up in the beginning of the year or maybe last year. I can't remember at this point, but it seems like they're really just sneaking in the fact that these asteroids and these comets that are just woozing by us at millions of miles an hour are becoming a real issue. Like, the movie came out, that felt like that was subliminal messaging of like, this is going to happen one day and this is what the reaction is going to be. Now all of a sudden I'm watching an interview and I'm watching a press conference happen where they're like, this will be a problem. And we as NASA, we work for humanity. We don't just work for America. We don't just work for different countries. We work for all of humanity to make sure that one day when this problem does arise, that we have at least like a couple of test runs to try and knock this fucking comet out of space from hitting us and destroying Earth.
Right. What a conspiracy theorist would say is that they are slowly getting us used to the idea of an asteroid heading straight for us and that we got to prepare for that, right? Like that movie is like, hey, this could happen. And now they're like, hey, in case one does this, we can throw a dart at it and knock it off course. Is there already an asteroid headed towards us that they haven't told us about? Who knows? I don't know who has the answers to these questions.
Worst part is these asteroids can come from behind the sun and we won't see it until it's too late. Have you ever heard about that one?
That feels like such a elementary way for the world to end, which is like, oh, there was this asteroid coming and it just happened to be in the blind spot of the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
It could, though.
It could easily. I mean, planetary defense is such a word that I didn't even know. That's not even a thing that we could do, and we're doing it. I mean,
it's 2 words.
It's 2 words. It's 2 words that I didn't know that we could accomplish. Like,
it's about as serious as it gets.
Can we accomplish that? Was that a successful trip to a comet yesterday or an asteroid? I mean, I don't know.
You want to know how stupid I am? I was watching the video, and it went all the way through. And I was like, why didn't we get to see the explosion? I don't understand what happened. And it's that you're from the camera, theoretically, is inside of the dart. So it's just, it goes into it and then no, you don't see anything because it exploded. The thing that you were watching it on is the camera view.
Right.
That I was confused at first with, which
Right.
is how stupid I am.
I've been working the phones for the last like 10 minutes. I don't know if you guys have been seeing me, but so 3 more guys. I tweeted earlier this morning that Phil Mickelson had dropped out of the lawsuit against the PGA Tour, which was initially called Mickelson versus PGA Tour. Now Taylor Gooch, Hudson Swafford, and Ian Poulter have all also dropped out. So there are just 3 players left. Matt Jones, Peter Uihlein, and Bryson DeChambeau. So it seems like this thing is going to end up. This seems like this thing is going to end up being just LIV Golf against the PGA Tour, and none of these initial players, which is interesting because, as we'll talk about with Tommy Fleetwood later in this episode, we talked about how the relationships between players, everything was cool, right? When they guys left, go do your thing, do what you want to do. It's when the players turned around and sued the other players that things started to get a little tense. And so it feels like, I don't know if it's because the LIV guys didn't realize that it would elicit such a strong response, or it probably is because they don't want their stuff to be as easily findable and like discovery and the court to be able to access their documents and stuff. But it does seem like the lawsuit is trending toward just being LIV Golf versus the PGA Tour. So thought that was worth sharing.
Does that take the teeth out of the lawsuit, or what does it actually mean when the players start dropping out?
I think it just makes it a lot harder. Like I was actually talking to Emma, my fiance, who's a lawyer, and she was telling me that like once you drop out your name out of the lawsuit, you're just like a member of the general public. So anyone in the world is subject to subpoena. Like the court can still subpoena documents, but it's a higher bar to subpoena documents for a member of the general public than for someone who's named in the lawsuit. So it seems to me like discovery is happening soon in this lawsuit. Like they're going to start finding documents and looking through emails and doing all that, kind of scandalous stuff. And it seems like some of these players probably just wanted no part of that.
Yeah, you just don't want people going through your stuff.
It's pretty much that simple. It seems like.
I would imagine Phil Mickelson really doesn't want people going through his stuff.
Right, which is why it was kind of surprising that he put his name on the lawsuit initially, because if there is stuff that, you want to hide and you don't want authorities to see, being the face of the lawsuit against, one of the 6 or 7 major sports organizations in the United States seems like a bit of a curious choice. So we're going toward LIV versus PGA Tour, which kind of seemed like where this was all going. But it's just interesting when you hear all the PGA Tour players being like, we were cool when we left, but when they sued us, like that's when we started to have a problem.
And if you're Phil, you've kind of gotten what you wanted out of this already, right? You got the payday, whatever it was, and you got the PGA Tour and all of its stars to enact all of these changes that otherwise wouldn't have happened. Like if you're Phil, that feels like 2 victories right in a row.
I mean, we've already heard a number of different guys be like, I think it was Xander Schauffele, who's kind of the biggest name player, who was like, yeah, like Phil was kind of right. Like, the things that he wanted, it's a bummer the way he handled it. It's a bummer the way that, it happened and things played out with him. But I think you're right. I think Phil kind of, he's giving up the chance of like a lot of money. Like when you're, by not being part of the lawsuit now, I don't think he's entitled to like financial damages like he would be if he was part of the lawsuit. But yeah, it seems like he's giving up the money in order to protect some documents, which, if you're Phil Mickelson, that might be worth it.
I would say that's definitely worth it.
Incredibly worth it. Riggs is battling some Wi-Fi issues right now, I think.
I think he's in a hotel.
Yeah.
I think he's still in Connecticut, maybe.
How was it yesterday? How was the final classic?
It was good. It was good. The weather was beautiful. That golf course, Woodway Country Club.
It looked really pure. I saw some pictures. It looked awesome.
Really nice. It's a really nice place. Yeah, everybody had a good time. Like I said, the weather was beautiful. Couldn't have been a more perfect day. New York's getting to that perfect spot. And I know we're all in New York. I know you're in Colorado right now, Dan, but it's getting to that point where right now it's like 65 outside and it's just perfecto.
Oh, dude. Last night when we got the house, the backyard came with a hot tub. It was one of the things that I made sure. I was like, oh, is that thing for sure working? Like the inspector that walked around the house when we were buying it was like, I was like, can you just make sure you go to the hot tub first to make sure all that shit's working? So last night we pulled a TV outside, put it on a table, and watched Monday Night Football from the hot tub. And that, man, bro, that like crisp in the air and like, you're talking like 98-degree water just bubbling around you is like that. That is a game changer that I've really never experienced before. I was never big a hot tub guy. Never really like found myself around them that much. Obviously, just a pathetic body. So in public, I don't like to take my shirt off. But like in my own home now, come on, man, I'm gonna be out there floating around like crazy in that thing.
That seems like an absolute lock for
But
Monday Night
that's
Football.
but that's the weather change. Is like you don't do that in the summer. It's something about like once that air conditioning type, like it's almost like we just got it down to like 67 with a cool breeze. It's like, whoa, this is big time now. That's
Dude,
big
get
time.
ready to use that hot tub in the December months when it's freezing outside.
Yeah, but then you can't get out. That's the problem. Getting out of a hot tub might be the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, when it's like 25 degrees outside, the run to the hot tub is amazing because you're like, I'm about to hit pay dirt. And then when you get out, it is horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of seasonal changes, so as you said, right, it's becoming to be fall. The leaves are changing up here in Colorado. We went on a hike with my parents and Emma yesterday, and they were all freaking out about the colors, about how beautiful all the different changing colors are. No. And something clicked in me. I'm ready for the glasses. I'm ready to try them. I'm ready to try them. I'm ready to try them.
How old are you?
I'm 27. It's been a long. They've been around for like 6 or 7 years, and I just haven't been ready to try them. But yesterday, I was like, you know what? Like, this walk that we're on is clearly so much more beautiful for you guys than it is for me, and I might as well try them. You know, if I don't like them and if they don't work, that's one thing. But I think I'm ready to try them. So we got to get that on video.
That is amazing. I really want that to happen. Have you been against using the glasses in the past?
Yeah, I have, because like once in my mind, it was like I didn't know if they were. It was early in the process, right? So I don't know if they were perfect. I didn't want to put them on if they were like only going to half work. And then also, if you put them on and they do work, then you can never go back.
Right.
And that's what I've been wary of, is like, do I really want to open this can of worms where I can see and then I have to wear these glasses? I was telling them, Riggs, that we went on a walk.
Heard
yesterday.
everything. Had my headphones in the whole time.
Yeah, I'm ready for.
Get the fucking glasses,
I think I'm ready.
I do see what he's saying though. Like, why even get a tease of what the world actually looks like? Because then everything, or maybe your brain will work in a way where it's like, oh, now I know what that actually does look like, so it'll almost change it.
Yeah, we were talking about that with my parents. I was like, I have no idea what impact it's going to have on me, because I've never seen the color purple. I've never seen something and been like, that's purple. So like, can my brain even process purple? Like, what am I going to have to learn?
How do you know what purple is?
I don't.
How do you know you haven't seen it?
I mean, I've
Do you
never
have like an idea of what it might look like?
Sort of. I mean, I went to Northwestern, so they're purple, but like all of their shirts to me they just look the same as blue. I guess blue is the same as purple.
What is the podcast app on Apple? What does that look like to you? Like color
blue, just blue, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Blue
There's
is
a bunch of blues.
Blue is like a cousin to purple for sure.
Yeah. I think it's just purple without the red, right? I mean, isn't that sort of
something like that?
Blue and red.
Having to explain colors is so impossible.
Listen, man, if you want to try those glasses on, I want you to think about it long and hard. It sounds like you had a.
Can we get them for Big Cedar? Because I mean, I feel like that's gonna be ultimate foliage of all time.
I feel like it might be a little. Let me do a little check here.
Do you need to go get a consultation?
I think you do need to get a consultation if you're gonna get like the right ones. I would guess they have like multiple different. Like, is there different types of color blindness?
Maybe we'll do a full eye show where Trent and I get LASIK surgery. You go and get your consultation for being.
I got some eye issues. I could join the party.
Riggs fixed his eyes, but that was years ago. But we could always plug that in. I mean, we're just an eye fucking podcast.
I actually think that'd be a great idea for this like period of time where they're expensive. Wow, they're very expensive. I mean, that's just not surprising, but they're expensive.
What are we talking?
We're talking like
what
the nice ones are like.
Okay. Oh yeah,
let's guess.
I mean, I'm just looking at Enchroma, which is sort of the brand that I've heard of.
I got a number in my head, but I really don't know. I'm gonna say $500.
I'm gonna say $1,200.
I'm gonna say like $400.
Yeah, Riggs it's about $389.
Yeah.
Oh. Come on, dude! To see the world, that's fucking pennies.
Also,
you could have said 3,000. I wouldn't. I mean, I was just kind of guessing.
I just don't know if it's gonna work, and if it works, am I ever gonna be able to not wear them? That's the thing. Like, am I gonna become Trent and just wear glasses all the time? Except for Trent's gonna stop wearing glasses. Am I gonna become the glasses guy in the podcast?
Imagine. It just flips. I get LASIK and all of a sudden dancing. Like one person always has to wear glasses on the podcast.
We pass it around.
I'm sure that it'll end up being like putting on a 3D glasses where it's like, whoa, I'm seeing the world in a different way right now. And then you'll just like take them off and you'll be used to what you've been seeing for 27 years. I don't think it's going to change the way you think.
Well, the way I kind of conceptualize it is like, you know, when you go into a Best Buy and they've got like the brand new TVs. And you're like, holy shit, like that is so crisp and the color is so vibrant. Like, I think that's what it's going to look like for me. but I don't know.
Yeah.
I do think it's a big decision.
It is a big decision, but I'm ready. You know, you have with these big decisions, like sometimes it's just like a moment where you're like, all right, I'm ready. And I had that moment yesterday.
It's like Trent and I just decided we're going to get our eyes like taped back and lasered off. So, I mean, that's just a decision. We're
What do they like shave off some what do they do?
I don't know.
Are we actually doing it? Do we got a consultation or something?
Yeah, I got to give the guy a date. I'm thinking it'll be in like November after we do all our stuff. Because I gotta go 2 weeks without wearing contacts, and then like we have to go in, and then like a couple days after you can't do anything, right? I'm assuming you have to take it easy. You're not gonna go out and fucking.
I've done very limited research, but I've heard that they've gotten good enough at it where it's like 24 to 48.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what we'll aim for early November. I got to reach out to my guy Brad, and then we'll see what's going on.
I got big news. Kevin Kisner just texted me, and he found out that he is 13th in the PIP standings. And if he can get into the top 10, he would be very grateful of the Foreplay Golf Podcast and its large following. So I have a question, Dan. Is social media not count this year, or does it?
I don't think it's clear. I don't think it's like...
So should people just Google him? Like if all of our followers just Google Kevin Kisner like 1,000,000 times a day, will that help?
I think that would probably help. Yeah. Okay. And I think if they maybe mention, I don't think it's like, it's not as, social media is definitely part of it, but it's not like its own category. But I also think the top 20 get paid out this year, so he's going to get money, it sounds like.
All right, this show, we talk a lot about the President's Cup, Ryder Cups, all kinds of events. The exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. If you want to go to an event, GameTime, fellas.
GameTime is where it's at.
Game time. Islanders season's right around the corner. I think we're like 15 days out from opening night.
Woo!
Wow. Trent Daddy and I will for sure be at opening night because of Game Time, sitting right there rooting on our fellas. I can't wait, man. Game Time is, and it's not just that. It's, there's concerts everywhere. If you live in the New York City area, there's a concert that's happening every single night, it feels like. October is a great month for concerts, so it's not just for sports. If you want to go see a show, make sure you go on Game Time.
We've been using Game Time all year long. It's so easy. You could just open up this app. You can even get $20 off using the code FORE for your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. It's so easy. You just create an account. Boom. Open up that app. Go to shows. Go to concerts. Go to sporting events. Game Time. They're great. Use the code FORE. Get $20 off your first purchase.
I think we can definitely, help Kisner out. If at some point we want to talk percentages, that's up to the group. But I would definitely be open to helping Kevin Kisner get into the top 10 of the PIP rankings. Yes.
Yeah, if he gets into the top 10, are we entitled to maybe 2%?
We have talked to him about it. I think his argument would be that he's helped our business. We can help his business.
That's fair.
Yeah, but our business doesn't come with that kind of payout.
Well, his business is also as he goes up with the PIP program, it's it's been coinciding with our videos and us talking about him. I think it's been a mutual growth.
Does he want to do a 4-man scramble rematch?
Ooh,
that's probably a really good idea. I think that would probably put him over the edge, right?
It would certainly help.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, that would be huge. And I didn't even think about a rematch.
I didn't either. Wow. If we did it at Palmetto.
I feel like he'd kill us at Palmetto.
Right, but then we'd be 1-1. Who cares?
I want to win.
I do want to win too, but at least it'd be more enticing for him to do it at his home course. He could shoot.
We've never lost in regulation to a PGA Tour pro.
That's true.
God, when we played with him that one time at Palmetto, it felt like there was a magnet under his ball on the greens. He just knows that place.
Mm-hmm.
He knows
back
that
and
place.
forth.
Yeah, that place is a problem for us. Couple from the galleries, which is brought to you by Truly, and then we're going to throw it to the Toms. We got the Toms, the Double Tom podcast. Truly, sponsors from the gallery. They also sponsor Barstool Classic 4 years in a row, which just wrapped up. I heard you guys mention that. Trent's talking about the weather. You guys were in my ear. I just couldn't respond. Frankie was doing the crisp in the air thing last night. Couldn't agree more. I was walking around Connecticut last night. There's that beautiful New England fall crisp in the air that's just, for me as a hockey guy, it would always give me the chills because that meant hockey season was coming. You wait all summer long. You're kind of fucking around. It's like summer hockey. It's a joke. That crisp in the air means it's starting to get real. Truly's got a nice crisp as well. Beautiful crisps. They got over 30 different flavors. We were drinking a few yesterday. Wild Berry's one of my favorites. So go check out trulyhardseltzer.com. They got 110 calories, 1 gram of sugar, naturally gluten-free. So yeah, go check out Truly. We love Truly. They sponsor from the gallery. Ben has a What's Up doc. He said, I got an insane medically related golf story. I recently took care of a gentleman in the ER. Thank you for what you do, Ben. Who tore his bicep playing golf. This happened on his first swing of the day, and he went on to finish the round and post a 105. This 100 zone is insane, but it gets better. Dude has his left arm amputated in the 70s after a work injury. So basically, he completed an entire round of golf with only his good arm being seriously injured. Is that one of the more impressive golf feats you've ever seen? I just thought we should give this person a shout out. Amputated arm in the 70s, tears his bicep, finishes the round, posts a 105. It's a hell of a performance.
Wow.
This guy's built from the Tiger Woods cloth.
Yeah. 105 with basically no arms.
Speaking of Tiger Woods, do we talk about Charlie and Tiger Woods yet?
I don't think we did. I think it came out right after we recorded.
So Charlie Woods posted like a career low 68, gives this interview, which was definitely a little bit awkward, but he's also, what is he, 13 years old right now? Is that how old he is?
I think that's right.
I think he's about 13. The biggest takeaway is clearly Charlie Woods' hands.
His hands are definitely like disproportionately large to his body right now, for sure.
For sure.
He might
There's
be a
no
wide
huge.
receiver. Tight end.
Larry Fitzgerald has gigantic hands. Maybe he'll be a
Giannis
receiver,
has
right?
giant hands. A lot. I mean, he's got big hands.
I heard Arnold Palmer had gigantic hands. Dan, did you ever shake Arnold Palmer's hands?
No, Arnold Palmer passed before I graduated high school or graduated college, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah,
What was
I
it,
think
2016?
Yeah, I graduated in 17. So
Are there any very successful athletes that have tiny hands?
I'm sure there are.
Isn't Kyler Murray
Yeah.
have small hands?
I feel like there's always QBs.
Oh, yeah, that
where
was
they're
his big thing,
Drew
right?
Brees. I think Drew Brees has small hands.
Doesn't Josh Allen have small hands?
No, he has huge hands.
Oh,
Like
it was the opposite.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Just doesn't. It
Is he
seems
hurt?
like professional athletes are big hand people.
Josh Allen get hurt? Did I see that? Or is he all right?
Alex, is he all right?
He's fine.
Okay.
Okay. I'm happy
That's
for
like
you.
the most
Alex, I
biased
didn't
answer of all
bet
time.
I didn't bet on the Dolphins, but sorry, pal.
So you weren't the mush then?
I was not the mush, but maybe the Dolphins are just for real. What do you think?
I bet on the Bills.
No, they're injured. They're injured. It's all good.
Yeah, I text Alex because I've been riding the Buffalo Bills. I mean, we're only in like week 3, but I think they're great, and I've been betting them every week. And then I was texting Alex about it, and I was like, I just put in Bills -4.5, and he just responded, our secondary is out. So that wasn't a great omen for the game.
No, that's not great. Big Cedar's coming up next week. So actually, the next time we do a podcast, I think we will be live from Big Cedar Lodge. Is that correct?
Holy shit, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excited. Really excited. I've been looking at videos online and stuff. I did a little bit of research on Ozarks National. Today I'll do some Paynes Valley research. I can't wait.
I've brought it up a couple times when people are like at the Classic or at the President's Cup, like, what's on the agenda for you guys coming up? And I'll say we're going to Big Cedar, and their jaws hit the floor. They've either been there and it's the greatest place in the world, or they want to go there because they know they've heard it's the greatest place in the world. So I'm very excited for Big Cedar.
It's going to be cool. Missouri, I get to show off my home state. We just did a Islanders scramble, which you get to watch, which is a little bit of Frankie's life. You get to kind of see where I used to vacation as a child in the Ozarks of Missouri. It's a stunning spot. Each course, too, there's the Tiger course, there's Court Crenshaw course, and then the other was Buffalo Ridge was redone, I want to say. I can't remember exactly who the architect is. I don't know if we could find it on the internet real quick. But it's really, really good, too. And before they actually built Ozarks National and Paynes Valley, it was considered by a lot of people like their favorite public course in the entire state. Now it's kind of third fiddle to the other two. Fun fact, too, Ozarks National is where Phil Mickelson won, I think, his first ever senior tour event a couple years ago.
I remember that. Buffalo Ridge was designed by Tom Fazio. So
Okay.
another titan of the golf architecture industry.
Okay. So yeah, anyways, we'll be at Big Cedar. I'm sure we'll be posting some videos and some social stuff, and then obviously saving the main videos for when the travel series comes out. Kiz said he's only got 4 days left, it appears, in the PIP. He said, Google Kevin Kisner and social media mentions help him. So if you're sitting around right now and you're a fan of what Kisner's done on our show and in our videos, Just go Google them. Just Google them like a million times today while you're sitting at your fucking desk.
So there's the cutoff is October, you're saying?
That's what he's saying, because I guess it would be seasonal. Is that like the first season?
I don't know, because remember last year? Remember last year Phil claimed victory, but it was before all the Charlie Wood stuff came in from December. So maybe they changed it, but last year it definitely went through December because Phil legitimately tried to claim victory. It's actually one of the more underrated things he's ever done. He tried to stop the PIP program.
And then Tiger dunked on him. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Google Kevin Kisner.
Kiz should still play us in a rematch so that he doesn't have to be like clawing at the gates of the top 10 next year. He'll just start off, maybe we'll do one in like December or November, and he'll just start off in first.
I agree. We got to do a rematch. And that's an easy one. He would do that in a heartbeat. We could just go right to him, do it at Palmetto. Maybe we could even do it at Sage. Imagine if we did it at Sage. We could show that place off.
God.
Kiz said it changed to the end of this month. So anyways, if you're out there, Google the shit out of them. Mention them on social media. I don't care what you're tweeting about. I don't care if you're tweeting about the Bills on Thursday night. Just write Kevin Kisner in your tweet. It's just, it's never really that hard.
Everyone should end each tweet that they send, no matter what it is, with just at Kevin Kisner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to hashtag him and add him in every tweet that I send for the rest of the month of September. So anyways, go help Kiz out. All right. We've got Tom Kim and Tommy Fleetwood coming up. I think we only did like 30 minutes there. Is that right? About 30? It's pretty good for us.
35, I think.
35.
Pretty well done. So yeah, next up we got the Tom. So enjoy Tom Kim, enjoy Tommy Fleetwood, and we'll be back next week. Both the Pearl Jam and the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert at the Apollo are now live on the SiriusXM app. Did I see Dave Portnoy went to one of these concerts with the dog, Nate Dogg?
Yeah, I believe it was Red Hot Chili Peppers, if I'm not mistaken. It was Dave, the dog, and who else was there?
It was Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Nate Dogg died. Nate Dogg died like 11 years ago, didn't he?
Come on now. The dog.
Nate.
Danny, the dog.
Oh, Barstool.
Your boss, essentially, right? He's like that.
Not Nate Dogg. Not actual.
No, the Nate Dogg.
Okay,
no disrespect to the other Nate Dogg.
Well, the other Nate Dogg is incredibly iconic, but there's only one that's still with us, and it's the Nate Dogg who runs the blog.
Nate Dogg with a W, D-A-W-G.
Got it.
The dog, Nate Dogg. So anyways, this concert is now available on the SiriusXM app. If you like good music, you can't miss these shows. Enjoy ad-free music channels for every genre and artist-dedicated channels. Download the SiriusXM app. Subscribe at SiriusXM.com/ForePlayPod offer. You get your first 3 months for free. Offer details apply. Again, you go to SiriusXM.com/ForePlayPod offer. Make sure you subscribe. SiriusXM.com/ForePlayPod offer. Get your first 3 months for free. Offer details apply. All right, folks, we're joined by a huge lightning rod in the game of golf over the last week and really this entire year, but especially the last week. We got Tom Kim. It's now Tuesday morning. President's Cup finished up Sunday evening. How are we feeling? How's just kind of your general energy level and vibe right now?
That's nice. I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie. Lying down in bed is gonna be the next schedule, so it's kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie.
So you're in Dallas. You're living in Dallas these days? Tell us what it's been like since the last putt of the President's Cup. It looked like we saw some pictures. You guys kind of hung out with the American team. Walk us through the last 36 hours.
So after Sunday, obviously the internationals lost, and it was it would have been better if we won, but we still had a great time. We had a full party with the international team, and the U.S. team kind of joined us as well. But obviously, sneak into that U.S. team room, talking to the guys, congratulating the guys, and they did the same thing. But it was a huge party for the whole team, and we had some fun. So I was up pretty late. It was my first official party
ever.
What? But I didn't drink. I was hammered on water. Don't worry. We stayed up pretty late. Cashed a flight and came to Dallas. I'm still at an Airbnb, so Still haven't officially moved in, but I'm moving in November. But
I guess that's one of the problems with being like very publicly 20 years old is that everyone was talking about how you're 20 all week. So if you were to drink, a couple of guys would have been like, this is a little bit dicey.
a lot of guys were like, "Hey, Tom, you gotta loosen up, like enjoy." Just not a big drinker. I've never been too excited about it. It's never got me excited. So I just got hammered in water. Got pretty drunk in water.
What do you mean you've never been to a party? Like that was your first time being around a collection of people celebrating something?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I mean, that's incredible. It's like, what a first experience. I don't think I remember my first party. Like what an amazing thing to remember.
And also, Tom, you've got party guy energy. I mean,
Yeah,
some of
you
the
do.
celebrations we saw during the President's Cup, it was like, that's a guy who likes to party. And it's a little stunning to find out that was your first party.
Did this unlock something in you now? Do you want to party all the time?
No, so that's the thing. So after that night, I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, obviously, being international, we have this once every 2 years. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, that's just the only time I'm gonna do it. I like staying at home. I like the quiet thing. So it's funny how it doesn't show that on the golf course, but I like just kind of just lying down in bed. Like I've been lying down in bed since probably 6 p.m. last night. So
I feel bad that we made you get out of bed. I feel like
I need to ass up a little bit sometimes.
the party energy thing is so true. Like you making the final cup in like a beer pong game would just send the whole place like through the roof. I mean, people would go crazy.
Never played beer pong before. I've only seen it in movies, so never seen it in movies.
Well, I guess you've been your life has sort of been like really golf centric. So we learned a lot about you last week, but I think there's still a lot that we don't know or that our audience doesn't know. So walk us through like what. I know you're from Korea, but I know you spent some time in Australia growing up. I know you turned pro pretty early. Kind of walk us through the Tom Kim file, if you would.
Yeah, so I mean, I turned pro when I was young. I was 15 when I first turned pro, and
15.
Obviously, yeah, right before my 16th birthday. But I turned pro when I was 15, and I couldn't play on the Asian tour or anywhere else in the world, like the main tours, because I wasn't old enough. So I had to stick around with where I was, and I went to Q school on the Asian tour. That's where I started, and didn't make it. I had to play the development tour for 7 months. I won 3 times. That got me exemption to the main tour, and
That'll do it.
I won my second start out on the main tour. That got me my full status, and the year that was going to be my full year, it's kind of the same thing that happened on the PGA Tour. Like I wasn't supposed to be a rookie because of the win, I became a rookie, right? So, my first official year, I played 4 events, and then COVID hit. So I was sticking around. I actually came to the US that year, and I was enjoying some time over here. But it's amazing how at the start of the year, I was just on the Asian tour. I was trying to get my status on the Corn Ferry, and bring myself up. But it definitely took a 360 turn, and I played the President's Cup last week, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you did. Played the President's Cup. Well, I got to talk about the Wyndham. Obviously, you got your first win at the Wyndham in Greensboro. It was my first time there, so I was there for your first win. No big deal. Yeah, they love you there. They're like obsessed with Tom Kim there in Greensboro, obviously. How, obviously you've had a really good year. You've won a lot, before you're out on the PGA Tour. Was that, did that feel like almost, even though you're only 20 years old, did that feel like a long time coming? Was that a surprise to you? I know you got off to the bad start and then still got the win, which Rory referenced the next week, which is really cool. But like, did that feel to you like, yeah, I deserve to win? Or was that a little bit of a surprise even to you?
It was crazy. Like, obviously the start wasn't great, but I was there to enjoy my week. That was the first week I just really let go and just had fun and didn't really have anything on my shoulders. I secured my PGA Tour card for next season the week before, and I was like, let's have fun with it. And obviously, like, I just wanted to, I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty of just, it's not me, but hey, just let's have a good week. Let's enjoy it. Let's make the cut. And I was going to go back home the next week, and this is a cherry on top for me. But that quad really got me in that mode of let's get things going. Like, got to make the cut. Like, we got to do well. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we won. And plans changed, get to the playoffs. But the amazing thing for me was that first win it was the most special thing about it was I get to pick a schedule now with where I want to play. and I get to play on the PGA Tour. That was like a huge thing for me. It wasn't my first win. That was wow. It was yes, now I can play here full time. I don't need to worry about where am I going to play next week? What's going to be my next event? Not getting late calls on Sunday to get to the event next week. Like that was the biggest thing for me for that first one. That was a very, very special thing.
When did the President's Cup kind of come onto your radar? Because I would, before you won, you were already creeping up, and you were probably very much on Trevor's radar. I'm just wondering when that became even like a possibility, because you said you started the year just wanting to get Corn Ferry status. When did the President's Cup become a thing?
I think after the Genesis, I jumped up a lot, but I think it first came in the week before I won, because I secured my tour card and I was really close. I think I was close enough to get captain's pick. That was kind of the thing, but that win really got me inside the top 8, and I was automatically qualified. So since then, I think that was kind of the point where, man, I really want to make this team. There was hope, but then when it came to realization, it was probably the week before I won.
It's incredible. President's Cup, I want to talk about when you were watching Siwoo Kim putt and when you couldn't even watch him. How stressful were those moments for you?
I was praying probably for my life, like, because we really wanted to beat that duo, and I know Siwoo really, really well. Like he and I are really close, so it just felt like, man, if me and him beat these guys, like, gosh, I'm gonna remember forever. Like this is gonna be so special. And they gave us a tough day. They were making putts, and obviously their story, they didn't really play the way that you expect them to play, right? Because I played them on Friday, and they were like 8 under through like 9 holes or something. Like it was insane, and it was kind of different that day. But 16 was the biggest thing, where if we're 1 down, and if we get this, we're gonna go even. We have 2 holes to play. It's a different ball game. But so I was praying. I was on Joe's shoulder. I was like, dude, like, please, like, just whatever putt you make, just this one. And he makes it on 16, and he goes to 17. He has another 5-foot par, and that's the decider of if I get to hit that shot on 18 and make that putt, or do we just kind of go 1 down going to last and need a birdie to tie kind of thing. So it was more of, man, really wanting to win kind of spirits.
Can we talk about the shot that Siwoo hit on 17? Because I think it's one of the greatest golf shots I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of golf shots, but this one was one of the 5 or 10 best I've ever seen in person. The ball's above his feet. He was 220. It's in the pine straw. He has to keep it below the branch, somehow have it cut enough to, and then have enough sort of backspin to hold the green. I mean, I don't know where you were. I think you were you on the left side? Like, could you see that shot? And what were your thoughts when you saw it going toward the green?
I was like, man, okay, like since he's in trouble, like since he got me out on 16, I kind of have to do my part. And I was on the fairway. I was in good shape, so I knew I wasn't worried about it too much. And I saw him hit that shot. I was like, man, how'd you do that? Like I was insane. Hit the upslope of the green, killed speed, and it was 30 feet from the hole. I was like, bro, like he was laughing. He was like, he couldn't believe it as well. So people don't know this, but people see the shot on 18 and see the putt and see, wow, like this guy's did this. But the reason why that was possible was because of him. Like it's a lot of kudos goes to him, because man, if he doesn't make birdie on 16, doesn't make that par on 17, like we're 1 or 2 down and the match is over. So I want people to kind of recognize that, like he played a huge role in that hole.
And then one thing I wanted to ask you about as well is you mentioned Joe. So you had Joe Scover on the bag, who was obviously Ricky Fowler's caddy for a long time. Like, how did that process come about of you reaching out to him? Were you nervous? How's it going so far?
Yeah, so I reached out to him. I was looking for a caddy and wanted, like, this is gonna be my full official season on the PGA Tour. I know I'm a rookie. I was a rookie last season, but this is gonna be my full season. But I wanted a caddy who I could, who had a lot of experience and who could kind of guide me through this and that. Because obviously Joe has been on the tour for such a long time, and he's had so much success with this player, and playing major championships, winning all these events. Like he's got a ton of experience under pressure, right? So I reached out to him when I was looking for a caddy, and we talked again after the playoffs, and we decided, okay, this is gonna be my first week. we're like, okay, let's give it a try, President's Cup, and then building up. And it's amazing how that first week went. It's unbelievable. Like he's a legend. Like he's so good at what he does. And I think if it wasn't for Joe, I could have been 5-0 for the President's Cup. So, a lot of credits to go to him, and he really kept me in the moment a lot. And he's been a huge help. So I think hopefully that relationship goes on for a long time.
It was cool. I know Scov a little bit. He's a Scottsdale guy. I live out in Scottsdale, and I noticed a lot. You guys, even while other people were putting, I noticed you guys were chatting a lot, which I thought was really cool for a pretty new duo. It seemed like you guys were getting along great.
It's funny. It's only been a week, but he feels like he's one of my best friends already. It's unbelievable. It's just.
Well, you've never been to a party, so I don't know if we have like that many friends to choose from.
Yeah, it's great. He's awesome, and I think I found a really good friend for me. Not personally, just taking the golf out of play. Like I felt like I found a really good friend, so it's pretty special.
Do you feel this momentum building for yourself and your brand the way that we do, like as fans and watching it? Like, have you felt this kind of turn in your career already, even though you're only 20?
I'm not gonna lie. Like I want to play good golf, and I want people to. I remember watching this on The Last Dance. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, but like if you take a couple hours to watch me play, like people who watch, like they deserve to see my best, kind of thing. So I just want to play good golf. I want to put a good show for the people, and just kind of do my thing. But I'm just kind of really excited to play on the PGA Tour, and I get to go to a lot of different places now, which is great. So
that's so cool. That's just such good perspective, It's like golf gets knocked a decent amount for being boring, and guys are kind of in their own world. And for you to have that perspective of like, I like to enjoy the PGA Tour as much as you do is really cool as fans, because we all live vicariously through you, right? We're like, it must be so cool to have a 9-foot putt on 18 in the President's Cup to win the biggest match of your life. Like that has to be the coolest thing in the world.
It is. It's so awesome, and I'm very fortunate to have that putt and me be the one to make it, because it could have been anyone else in the world. So I'm super blessed and super. So, but that's why I felt like I wanted the emotions to come out, because I wanted people to enjoy it as well, not just me and my team. I wanted everyone in the world to know that this putt was just for everyone to enjoy. Yeah,
you're a showman. When you're in the midst of one of these competitions, I was in the interview room talking to some of the American guys, and it gets under their skin a little bit, right? Like you seeing a guy who's celebrating all this stuff, but then after the tournament ends, you guys are all hanging out and taking pictures together and really just enjoying each other's companies. What were your conversations like with the Americans after? Because obviously you were the guy that they were like, oh, this kid is freaking fist pumping and crazy. What were they like to you after the tournament finished and everyone was hanging out together?
They were really, really supportive. They were like, dude, great play, man. You were awesome this week. You're a legend. That goes from Tony, goes from, Scotty to Jordan to JT to Colin. They were really, really supportive of what I did the week. And they're like, you're the breath of this team. Like, you were the energy of this team. So for me, as a fanboy, no matter where I am in the position of golf, like, I'm always going to be a fan of them. Like, because they inspired me to be on the PGA Tour. They inspired me better, even though it was just a YouTube or a TV kind of relationship, but to kind of build it, this week and talk to them a lot. So I'm extremely grateful. It's unbelievable how grateful I am.
How was our boy Trevor Immelman as a leader for you?
Dude, he can be a motivational speaker. It's unbelievable how he can talk. It's so amazing. He's so cool. He got the team pumped up every single day, whether it was we were down, we were up. He got the team going, and we all of us internationals really wished we could have won the cup for him, but it wasn't to be. But I told him, I loved him, and I told him thank you. It's an honor for me to be able to represent my first President's Cup. He was my captain, so I'm extremely honored.
He really is that way. He can hold court with the best of them. We ran into him briefly early in the week, just like he was on a cart driving by, and we stopped him to say hello. And within 2 minutes, he was telling stories and like just had complete control of the group. He really is the best at that.
He's awesome. He's so cool. He's so cool.
Yeah,
He
so
did like he like crosses his arms and did a wide power stance and kind of just like you said, he held court. We were all just in his presence for 5 minutes, just listening to everything he was talking about. It's that's like a natural born leader type stuff that like you really can't teach.
It's he has a gift. Other than winning the Masters and having an exceptional career, he has a gift of just inspiring people. That's amazing.
yeah, it seemed like one of his main goals as captains, and this was going back to last President's Cup, was to make you guys really feel like a team. Because the Americans, it's natural, right? They're all from the same country. They play the Ryder Cup, so they get to do this basically every year, that same core. You guys, once every 2 years, you got guys from Africa on your team. You got guys from Canada. You got guys from Australia. You guys from Japan. You guys from Korea. How much did you guys come together? Because it really did seem like that team room was very close.
It's great because, every week we play, we're trying to beat each other, right? Individually. But for that first week for me, it was unbelievable how close I became with the guys. And I was like, man, I could take a bullet for every single one of these guys in the room. It was unbelievable. And it's probably all because of Trevor. Like, he brought us together. He wanted us to, bond and become family. And now, since the President's Cup finished, I would do anything for them as well because we became so close. And seeing them individually now it's gonna be so much cooler because now we're so close. We're a good team, and I hope the same team makes it to the next President's Cup so we're gonna be even closer. We're gonna play better, and it's amazing. He's played a huge role in all of us just getting close because you see Adam, his 10th President's Cup. His first President's Cup was probably when I was 1, and I been a fan of Adam Scott as well, but he really brought us under his wing, and building that relationship with Adam and with all those guys it's really special.
How much did you feel the love in Charlotte from the fans? Because even though you were on the kind of opposing team, it felt like people loved you out there.
Normally, so individually, like when you go to a normal event, like they all clap for you and they're supportive. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how I didn't get a boo all week, which is really, really. I'm grateful. I didn't hear a boo. So, even though I heard a lot of like, "Hey, we love you, Tom, but not this week." None of that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Did feel a lot of support.
You played against Max Homa on Sunday, who is another one of our kind of friends. We talk about how he's friends with everyone in media, but we're one of those people who are happy to be friends with Max Homa. What was that experience like? Were you guys chatting, or was it really just I'm on my own ball, he's on his own ball, and this is a fight to the finish?
No, we did talk a little bit. It was a competitive friendship kind of like a match. Don't get me wrong. I'm still pretty pissed losing. Like, I don't like losing at all, especially on a Sunday at a singles match. But especially having the 3-up lead, and he played exceptional the last 6 holes to get one up on me. But Joe's close with Max, and he's caddy Joe as well. But it was really cool to kind of have a nice sportsmanship kind of match coming down to 18. And I knew he was going to play well because he just won the week before, right? So kudos to him, but I can't wait for a rematch. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wrap my head around the fact that you turned pro 15. Like, you didn't finish high school. Like, there's no high school. Like, what's your school?
So once I started playing golf, I started getting homeschooled. So I turned pro when I was in high school. So I left pretty early.
And you speak 3 languages? I mean, it's not like your school. I mean, your schooling didn't fail you. You're like one of the more intellectual. Your communication's incredible.
Yeah, 2 to 3 languages. But I like speaking English.
Yeah.
What's the one language that you're not so sure about? 2 to 3. What's the one?
So I grew up in the Philippines a little bit. Spoke their language a little bit, but kind of losing it. Living in Thailand, speak a little Thai, but not so great.
So wait, how many places have you lived?
Oof, that's probably lived in like 6 countries, I think.
And is that just because of golf, or I know your dad was a pro? Like, what made you move around so much?
So I moved to Australia. That's where I officially grew up. But I moved there because my parents wanted me and my brother to kind of learn the English language a little bit. And once that was done, I we bounced around a little bit, but I went to Thailand because I wanted to, I was going to turn pro and start on the Asian tour. So it was a great spot for travel. Everything's like 1 hour, 2 hours away. So that was the spot that I kind of had to move in. So, but once COVID hit, it's funny how I moved to Korea when I was 18, I think. That was during COVID. That was 2020. So it was my first time I got to live in my home country. It was crazy. So I was there for 1.5 years, maybe, and then I'm here in America, and I love it here. So
are you going to buy a home, or are you going to stay in that Airbnb in Dallas? What's the plan?
But I'm renting an apartment. I'm moving in November. I can't wait. Gosh, as much Airbnbs, as much as how good they are, gosh, it's just different when you have your own bed, right, and just your own bathroom. I think that's the best thing. Save your own toilet. Doesn't beat that.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. That's a comforting feeling for sure. No.
So with South Korea, I gotta ask: Are you are a Korean citizen? So are you like technically you have to do the military service that some of the Koreans have had to do? Or I mean, I know you're gonna have a bunch of chances in the Olympics to try and medal and stuff, but is that something that's even on your radar at all?
Not sure. I think that's too far in the future for me to kind of look at. I'm just, I'm 20, bro. Like,
Yeah.
let's keep it true. So yeah, I've never been able to represent my country. So hopefully I can make the Olympics, or I can play the Asian Games, or one of those things. It's gonna be a different experience, a different type of pressure. So it's gonna be a great learning experience.
What's this week look like for you? Practicing? What's like a normal practice week look like?
Yeah, so I'm gonna take today off, and then I'm gonna start working at it tomorrow, but gonna work out later. And then it's just back to the grind. Got 3 weeks in a row. So I'm starting in Vegas. So it's gonna be fun. Vegas is
Yeah, you ever been to Vegas? There's some parties in Vegas you can go to.
A lot of parties.
for this trip. Except for this trip. I'm not a big party guy, so other than this trip, I love Vegas. There's a lot of great restaurants, especially Asian restaurants. They're great. They're great there. So can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Unreal. Yeah, Vegas does have really good restaurants. You got like a favorite go-to Asian joint in Vegas that people should check out if they're in Vegas?
I'm probably the last guy you should ask, but I think because I lean a lot to the guys on tour, so I go to maybe a few years. If we do this again in 2 years, then ask me. Then I can kind of let you guys know where to go.
You got like go-to dinner buddies? Like who's your crew on tour that you go out with?
I go out a lot with you. I think we probably have dinner every week. Sung Jae probably have dinner quite a lot of times, and kind of the Korean guys. We're really tight. So
yeah, you guys got quite the squad out there with you and KH and Siwoo. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who are playing at the high level.
It's fun. It's for me starting out, I had them on tour and I asked a lot of questions. So they've helped me out a ton. So I try to buy a lot of dinners and say thank you in my part, but they're awesome. It's really cool to have them, especially last week. Like it was the first time I think 4 Koreans were ever on a President's Cup team, so it was special.
It's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, it's like to think about. Everybody talks about JT and Spieth and their friendship and playing together, but the fact, I mean, you and Siwoo are out there getting dinner together all the time, and then Saturday afternoon you come down to 18 against a pretty big team on the U.S. and you guys get to play together. It's just like unfathomable for me how cool that is.
Yeah, I mean, on Saturday I can tell you that it meant so much more because I played with Siwoo. It meant so much more because I had a really close buddy of mine beat one of the best duos to probably ever play the game. So it's super special. Like I can't really put into words. I'm saying special so much because it's the only word that comes close to it. So
that's fair.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like the word special.
Yeah.
Unreal. Well, yeah, we really appreciate this. Good luck this year. I think you got a ton of fans. I know you got some on this show right here. So good luck out there. Keep playing well. Keep bringing the energy. You're a showman.
I got one more question for you. What's the tour event you're most excited for next year that you haven't gotten to play yet?
Ooh, Masters. That's gonna be a good one.
That's a pretty good answer.
That's the Masters is gonna be. It's gonna be our first time in Augusta. So
you're gonna get a practice round in before.
I think so. Like guys were telling me like soak it all in before you get to the tournament, so you don't go all fanboy and everywhere. But it's gonna be a cool spot. I think I might cry driving into Magnolia Lane. It's the first event I've ever watched.
Well, I love that you're such a fan because, like, Xander Schauffele was talking earlier this week. Like, he didn't really watch it growing up. Some guys aren't huge golf nerds. It seems like you are. You're someone who you're watching.
I'm a super golf nerd. I need to get away from that image, but it's just kind of who I am. So much, I've taken so much information from everywhere. I kind of know all the holes already, so it's gonna be my first time kind of playing it, but I'm super excited for next year.
Do you remember the first Masters you watched? Do you remember which one it was?
It was probably the 2005 Masters. I think it was I was playing 8 when I watched it. I watched it on tape. Like it was a DVD at that time. It was but I watched it on tape. I think it was 2005. I think that's what really inspired me to play golf, and seeing that chipping from Tiger on 16. But that's why I think it holds a special place in my heart because it was the first event I ever watched.
Very cool.
Unreal. I just got the chills thinking about the Masters already. I'm so excited for the Masters.
we only have 8 months, Riggs, so you might. Yeah.
I know. You got to chill out. Just got to chill out a little bit. Thank you, Tom. We appreciate it, man. This was great.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. It was awesome to be here.
Thanks,
Tom.
man.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Good luck out there.
Thanks, guys.
Folks, we got to tell you about the new crew neck from Peter Millar. The cradle crew neck pullovers from Peter Millar. I was rocking this, one of my scripts, the white one, the little crew neck. And I know, Frankie, you had like a crew neck going on, I believe, one day too. You had like a crew neck sweater going on from Peter Millar at the President's Cup.
Yeah, they've got different variations of their sweaters, but this was a nice, light, athletic fit. Like crew neck sweater where you put the tailored fit underneath the polo underneath that. What I've really never noticed, because we always get the ones that we sell on our store sent to us, and then you don't realize that like Peter Millar has so many variations of all their polos. They have a tailored fit one, they've got a summer cloth one, they've got different types of thicknesses, different types of fits around the arms and the shoulders. And I mean, when you go to that store, we went to the store in Charlotte, man. That stuff's awesome. Look at what you're holding there. I mean, we went to the store in Charlotte, and you just realize like their everyday wear, their casual wear, their winter wear, their fall wear. They've got jackets and bags and jeans and shoes. Peter Millar is becoming, and I mean they already are at this point, but like they're becoming a legit household name when it comes to just fashion, not golf.
They're a juggernaut. I got an email actually today from Peter Millar. I got like their little catalog emails, and they had these models we're wearing for fall.
Also, they picked the hottest models of all time. Like,
these guys are hot, and then they have to deal with us. Like, we're walking around wearing their stuff, and they got these absolute smoke bros on there rocking all kinds of good stuff. But anyways, Peter Millar, the cradle crew neck, 4-way stretch, moisture wicking, easy care properties. Head on over to petermillar.com/foreplay to explore the cradle crew neck as well as the complete line of performance pullovers from our friends at Peter Millar. That's petermillar.com/foreplay. Check out the cradle crew neck. It's one of my favorites.
How are we, guys?
We're doing great. How are you? How's Dubai?
Yeah. Hot. Like, really hot.
Like 100 degrees, or I guess what, like 40 degrees, 35 degrees?
So the actual temperature, so what it's felt like the last 2 weeks has been close to 50, pretty much, most days.
Ooh.
Whatever that is. What is that?
It's 9/5 plus 32. So 9/5 of 50 would be 10.
Wow.
That's like 120 degrees.
Yeah, well, that's what it's felt like. So
he's like, oh, checks out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just really hot. Is it summer? Like, what's the seasonal comparison to the States there? Is it summertime?
Yeah, same as us, same as UK, same as the States. So like your back end of summer, you're like coming into fall or autumn. It does actually start to get cooler now. We've never been here this early. We're always playing like December and January or November when it's perfect. So, and it'd be all right if you were, well, I say that 7 a.m. it's hot. So it's just like middle of the day. Nobody is around in the middle of the day. So like for me playing golf and being on a golf course on my own, like middle of the day is the best time. So you just get on with it.
So you got to talk to us about the Dubai move. I mean, I didn't realize that you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
What are the factors? Why'd you move from? You were in the States or were you in England?
We were in England. I mean, we've done a bunch of stuff. We've rented in Orlando before. We'd rented here before for a few months. But our base has always been the UK. The biggest thing, to be honest, was the kids' school. So Oscar and Mo, who were 16 and 14, they both. Mo's laughing at me now as he's going upstairs because he's just heard me mentioning him on the call. But they sort of have in the mind that they want to play golf in college in America. And there's a school here that has a really good system that helps them progress and eventually get through there. So that's, that was a really good thing for them. That's great for them going through that system. Frankie's just started school and Frankie's fine. Like my Frankie, not your Frankie. He's probably as well.
I was going to say, our Frankie's not fine.
It's probably better than me at golf. But.
And then the other thing was we're opening up the second academy here, the Tommy Fleetwood Academy. So it's just all worked well that we'll be around that quite a lot. And yeah, it was just sometimes, it's better to give it a go. And then if you don't like it, or it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But you'd rather give it a go. And so far, everybody's really happy and it's going great.
What are the housing options like? I mean, you in like a high rise? Is there residential neighborhoods? What are the options?
Just in a normal house. You could get pretty much anything in Dubai, but we're in a house where we're in on a community, on a golf course. I don't know, 5 bedrooms, whatever it is, 2 floors. Like it's great. Settled in pretty well, but you can do anything from a high-rise flat to a mansion. We'll just go somewhere in between.
It's interesting you mentioned the college in the States. Was that ever something that was on your radar when you were a junior, or was that never even a possibility?
No, it was, and so I finished, for us in the UK, we finished high school at 16, and then at the time. I wanted to give myself some time playing full-time golf, see how I was doing. I was playing for the national team and everything, and I wanted to see how I was getting on after a year or two. I played Walker Cup in 2009, so I was 18, and then I was always going to turn pro young. Really, I wanted to start earning like money.
Super fair.
I wanted to start earning at some point, and I was never that in. I mean, I wouldn't say this to other kids, but I was never that into the school thing. But I was always doing all right. So I turned pro at 19. So another, 2-3 years at school just wasn't really my thing. I wasn't going to do it. But I'm like fascinated by the whole like college, like American college thing, because I never did it.
Yeah.
And like how successful it is, I'm quite fascinated by it. So
I think it's come a long way. I think even since you were in college, it feels like, or even since you were that age, it feels like these college programs now they have these incredible college practice facilities, and they're traveling all over the country, and you see these guys come out and they're ready to win. And I think a big reason is because of how sophisticated the college game is these days.
Oh, they're pros already. Like they're so competitive, and they have so many things going for them, and that is one of the things you see it so often now. Like they have success straight away, which even when I turned pro, there was always sort of stages that you had to go through, and you had to like earn your experience in a way, and you were never expected to do that great when you turn pro or whatever in your first couple of years, and that was just kind of a thing that was expected. But especially on the PGA tour now. And I'm DP World and stuff, but you just see guys coming out and they're just so ready. Like the games are far more advanced than mine was when I turned pro.
How so we obviously over here we were just rocking for the President's Cup. You're clearing.
It was
out
really
President's
good. President's Cup, actually. I enjoyed it.
Did you watch any of it? Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, we watched quite a bit. Like, obviously, like we never. I go to bed pretty early, so I was never making it till the very closing stages. But I really enjoyed it. I actually quite like that it goes on for longer. Like, it's 4 days. I quite like that. But I just thought it was a good President's Cup. It had a great atmosphere to it, and like there was just a few. I suppose any time in a team event, President's Cup, Ryder Cup, there's always like stories that come out of it. But I just thought like there was a few good ones in this, and I enjoyed watching.
For you guys, does like the European Ryder Cup group text get popping off this time of year when you get the team atmospheres going?
No, it hasn't done fully enough. But we had that one. We didn't have like a massive group chat last time. We had it on something else. But like no, like with all, I'm sure everybody's watching it. But then there's guys that are playing, like there's guys that are playing in Italy and France and stuff, and busy. And then there'll be guys at the Dunhill too. But it's just it's nice to watch, isn't it? And then it brings back a fire, it brings back memories, it brings back like motivation to make, because I think the team stuff's so cool. Like it's so good in it. Like you see just different sides of people coming up, like the interactions with the crowds and stuff. It's so good to play in, but it's really good to watch as well.
We were talking about this yesterday between us about how guys act in certain ways during these weeks that they just would never act otherwise. Tom Kim was saying he would never scream like that in a normal event, or Justin Thomas obviously wouldn't be nearly as demonstrative. Our kind of consensus was like anything goes during these team weeks, right? Like it's 1 week a year, right? We can tolerate this. Having been inside the ropes and in multiple Ryder Cups, is that how you guys feel too? Does anything go, or do you guys kind of notice when guys are being a little bit petty, or maybe they're does that fire you guys up inside the ropes, or is it kind of like, yeah, I mean, this is the time for it?
I mean, I've been on the wrong end of pettiness a couple of times by like certain players, but I mean, like anything does go, and everybody's. I think we never get to do the team thing, so like we never get to do it week in week out and just be used to it. So I guess whatever comes out, yeah, I don't think anybody minds at the end of the week. Everybody there, everybody sits there at the end of the week, everybody has a drink together, everybody has a laugh, and it's just that's what it is. Everybody shakes hands at the end of the round and stuff, and it is. I think people do. You just you don't realize you're doing some of the stuff half the time, and I think you just have to remember that and appreciate that when you're playing, and everybody just gets so into it, and the crowd makes such a difference. The crowd play such a huge part in any of those team events, and whether you're riding with them or whether you're fighting against them, like they play equally as much of a part. So it's it's one of the coolest things.
When you played on a team, did you have your role set out going into the team? Like our guy Kevin Kisner knew, like he had half a point, but he was there to be the funny guy, to be the locker room guy, and he knew that going in. We talked to him on Wednesday. He's like, the only reason I'm here is because of Will Zalatoris' back. Like he knows exactly why he's on that team. Did you ever like say this is going to be my role going in, or did it kind of happen naturally?
No, pretty naturally. I think I think forever I'll probably be like one of the calm ones that sits in the room and is just around there. I would like to think that's what I'm like. I never particularly get too up and down, and I think anybody it kind of can level people out if they're around me. I'm never I think the two times I've played in multiple teams. I played Eurasia Cups and the Chevy Trophy when that was on. And then 2 Ryder Cups, and there's always natural leaders that are in that team. And I think one of the great things about Europe over the last few years is that we've had quite a bulk of experience where you've had a few leaders that everybody's if you're going to turn to somebody for that, then usually I probably wouldn't be that guy, but I'm hopefully people would feel very comfortable just saying anything or talking to me. I remember John Round talking to me in the first one and stuff. And, it was my first one as well, by the way. I'm like, why is he asking me a question? I'm equally as much.
You're the old soul.
I am an old soul. So maybe maybe that's my calling. I'm the old soul of the bunch.
I was looking through some of your history in the Ryder Cup, and in 2018 in Paris, I was looking at your team performances, and it's Molinari Fleetwood beat Woods Reed 3-1, beat Spieth Thomas 5-4, beat Woods Reed 4-3, beat Woods DeChambeau 5-4. What do you attribute to just shit kicking all the Americans that week, including somebody who's probably
it was very enjoyable, and I like the phrase. I'm going to keep that because I've obviously, like, people ask me about the Ryder Cup all the time, and I was like, well, I played Tiger Woods 3 times and I beat him 3 times, and
it's so sick. That's unbelievable.
It might be the one record I have against him for the forever, but shit kicking I'll keep that in the stories from now on. That week for me was I would say I was, as a rookie, I was unbelievably lucky in some of the things that went for me. So, like, we were playing on a course that I'd won on the year before. Fran was my partner all the way through the week. My closest person out on tour, so I was very, very comfortable with him. It was at home. I think that makes a difference. There was a ton of things, really. It was my son's first birthday. There was a lot of things going for me. And to be fair, people forget, Patrick Reed chipped in the first game that we played to go. They were 2 up through 10, and we were doing nothing. I was putting horrendous. I wasn't really playing very well. And then, a few hours later, we get through the first match and then never look back. Like, we didn't play many holes after that. And it was just one of them things. And we got on a roll. And to be fair, you play one Ryder Cup and you do that, and you're like, yeah, like, this is great. Like, this is just what it should be. I don't know what the big deal is. And then, the tables turned at Whistling Straits, and I realized how hard it can be.
And I wanted to talk about going forward with the Ryder Cup because, it did sort of seem like last year was a turning point in the sense of, you guys had this core that you were talking about of Poulter and Stenson and Sergio and Westwood. And, those guys might have played their last Ryder Cup even without LIV Golf, right? Just because of age and sort of turning the page. And Rory talked about how he's excited about, there's a new core that, it seems to be from the outside. It's like Rory, Victor Hovland, you, Rahm, Matt Fitzpatrick, that these guys are sort of turning the leaf and becoming the veterans and the leaders. Do you feel like we're going to see some new blood in the Ryder Cup next year and kind of a new look European team?
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yes.
I think so. We had that core group of guys, and I think if they're not there in some capacity, it's not that they would have been potentially playing, but they would have been around. So for sure, if they're not there, then they'll be missed. Not necessarily in a playing sense, but they'll be missed as being part of that team. But also, yeah, we're going to have new players. I think it's funny, really, because I was watching the President's Cup, and all of a sudden, I think something that the Americans were never really known for was having, like, partnerships that were set. And all of a sudden, you're looking at Jordan and Justin and Xander and Patrick and like a few others going on. And all of a sudden, like, you guys, or the American team seems to have, like, pairings that are there. Kind of thing, and that was always, like, our gig. That's what we did. So that's different and that's new. But I think the Ryder Cup is a massive motivation to make that team for everybody. And I think we'll definitely, it looks like we're going to have some new players. But I don't think any of us will go into that and sort of lack confidence or feel. I mean, I thought we were going to win the last one, so that's like that says, if you go in and you don't think you're going to win it, then what's the point? You look back and maybe it's unrealistic to think that we were going against the Harlem Globetrotters and we were going to win in the backyard and that. But I still think we'll all turn up in Rome and we'll expect to win. Whatever the team is, whether it's young, old, neutral, old souls, leaders, whatever it is. I think we'll go into it feeling like we're going to win. And sure, there's going to be some new guys, but I think we're going through a phase as well where it seems like we've got some really good young players as well.
Do you, man, I couldn't help but we were on site for most of it. President's Cup, we've been at the Ryder Cups. And President's Cup, I was reminded on the first tee and then especially coming down the stretch, guys are so hyped up and the crowd is so hyped up. And golf is such a game of precision. I was wondering, like, is it hard to adjust your yardages? Because we hear all the time about practice round yardages, tournament yardages, Sunday and tournament contention yardages. Now we're talking fucking Ryder Cup. Fans are going crazy. Like, is it hard to adjust your yardages?
I think probably you just know. I think you're there with your caddy and stuff, and you just know, like, there's going to be a little extra in it or something, and it's the coolest thing, isn't it? And honestly, some of the golf shots you see as well, like, how good are they? Like, so cool. The hardest thing in the President's Cup was I didn't realize, because I didn't make it to the end of the matches because we're so far ahead of time, was that I was looking at like the 15th hole in the President's Cup on the third day, because they went out.
It's 18 at Quail Hollow, right?
What have they done to the 15th hole? I was like, that looks great. And then so it took me 3 days to realize that was a change. But honestly, like, you just it's funny, the shots that you can come out with when you're under the ultimate pressure, or when you don't have time to think about it, when it's so noisy, when you're so hyped up. And some of the golf shots, guys, that are amazing. They really are.
Yeah. It's it's amazing. It's cool. It's funny how a lot of the matches seem to have a pretty similar or just overall general kind of trajectory, where it's like the first 5-6 holes, for whatever, it feels like you don't see the best golf. People are kind of, and then all of a sudden the last 6-7 holes, people start hitting amazing shots. Yeah,
it's great. That's what everybody wants to see as well, isn't it? Like, they just and live for those moments. And there was some absolute corkers at the President's Cup.
I wanted to ask you, because your lovely wife responded to a tweet of mine last week. I think it was last week. And, I was just talking about how there was all these rumors swirling about different guys going to LIV, and basically how you have all these accounts saying, oh, we've never been wrong. And meanwhile, they've been wrong about this many people. And your wife chimed in and said, oh, there's actually one more person that they've been wrong about. What is the experience of being a professional golfer been like over the last 12 months? Because it's, you're already dealing with so much, especially you, a guy who plays both tours, to now have to answer questions and deal with all of this speculation. How much more draining has this last, 18 months been than any other time in your career?
Probably more draining for other people than me. I think on a personal level, I've been happy to start getting my game back to somewhere where I think it should be, and start competing in events again. And I was having a really good summer. I think it's funny, really, because I think people are bored of it, but then also people can't help but talk about it and can't get enough of it. And it's been a massive thing. And you sort of, you flip between going, like, is it really that big a deal where a golfer decides to play his golf? And then you think, well, it is what we live in, and it's an amazing talking point, and it's big news, and there's a lot of crap going on around it. It's been. I think the strangest thing has been, I think definitely there's a few tournaments this year that have felt a bit strange, and had like a little bit of a weird atmosphere, and definitely more recently, I think. So it's just you get on with what you're doing, and everybody's still. I just want to play as well as I can play, and like, I totally get it. I think I've always had the, the feeling or the idea that as long as I'm playing my golf where I want to play it, like I'm perfectly, happy. Like, I'm not really that bothered about what other people are doing. Like, I get to play the events I want to play. I'm playing in the majors. I'm playing in big events. Everything's great for me. But then I think there's certain things that players have done that they probably shouldn't have done, like, making a choice and then suing people. I don't think that should be something they're doing. But equally, I like a lot of the guys that have gone to LIV, and I still like a lot of the guys, and I'm not really bothered that a decision they make, to go play somewhere else. I actually think it's the best thing to do for some of them. Like, I think it was probably the right thing to do. I think there's some people that have gone that it probably wasn't the right thing to do, and maybe they think that as well. But overall, there's been some strange events, and it's going to be a talking point for a long time yet, and it's not going anywhere.
But it hasn't impacted your personal relationships, is what it seems like. Because there have been some other guys, who have said, like, I have a hard time seeing them here. It sounds like you're sort of able to compartmentalize.
Well, yeah, because like I say, I think some people that have gone, it probably was like a good idea for them to go. You know, the ones that might not be as competitive going forward or a bit older, like, you know, and they've been offered, you know, what they have or the chance to do what they're doing. Like, I'm not that bothered. That's fine. I just think, you know, when you make a choice and they start suing, I think it's a bit silly, really. But, you know, I would still talk to any of the guys, really. I have no real remorse. I've got no time for that. I'm very fine. I would much rather, you know, everybody get on and be happy and do their own thing. But you know, it's not the way things are going at the moment.
Yeah, it does seem that things changed a little bit when the lawsuit came. Where it's like, all right, fine, play wherever the hell you want, but if you're going to start suing people for a decision that you made, then you knew what the consequences were going to be. It seems like a bit of a dickish move to start suing the other people that you came from and the whole deal. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I got it.
Hard thing, yeah, because I think, you know, everybody knew what was going to happen, and I'm sure there's people that didn't go because they, you know, knew what was going to happen and whatever. And I just think, you know, when you kind of knew what was going on, like, don't, you know, see your ass about it now. But that's that.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, unfortunately. And like you said, we say all the time on the show, like, all right, kind of sick of talking about this, and then people end up talking about it.
Can't help it. It just keeps coming back.
I can tell you from my old job, looking at just like page views of articles that we would write, people are not sick of it. Or if they're sick of it, then they have like a twisted relationship with it because it's like a scab that you can't stop picking.
Yogibo, one of a kind comfort that conforms to your body. I like that phrase, conforms to your body. We all know what we're talking about when we say that. When you sit on something, among something that is so comfortable, it just conforms to your body. That's what you get at Yogibo.
Yeah, I have one of these. I returned from one of our mini trips that we've been on, and there was a big box in the lobby, and I was like, what is this? And I checked the name, and it was my name. I brought it up here, and it was a Yogibo, and it's in my room back there. It's not out in the living room right now, but I use that thing all the time. You can sit in it, you can watch TV, and it does conform to you. There's nothing better than having a chair that conforms to you. If you have a chair that you've had for a while and it just won't conform to your body type, it's not as comfortable as it would be if it conformed. Yogibo does that almost instantly. Sit in it a couple times and you are going to have the most comfortable chair in your apartment, in your home.
And I'm seeing there's such big fans of you guys out there, the listeners, that they're giving you 25% off. You use the code FORE. You go to yogibo.com/foreplay. Use the code FORE. You get 25% off your order. Furniture at Yogibo is guaranteed to bring style to any space, the living room, the playroom, the locker room, the 19th hole, wherever you stream, whatever tour you might be watching. A perfect way to decompress after a day at birdies and or bogeys. It's a chair, a couch, a recliner, even a bed. That's FORE for 25% off your order. That's yogibo.com/foreplay, code FORE. You're going to get 25% off your order. So we got to talk about TaylorMade and our boy Essie, who everybody loves, who dragged you onto our show at the PGA Championship. Told us that you used 2 3-irons at the US Open. Is that right?
I used 2 3-irons a couple of times. One was like a 2-iron. So yeah, I did. Yeah, I tend to like fiddle with that end of the bag, and I'm always trying to get it right and can't quite do it.
And you're using the Pix balls now too, right? The TP5X Pix?
Yeah, I've been using them for a while. Yeah, I changed them in Vegas last year. I couldn't really, I use a line on the ball, and you'd think it'd be easy to just line the ball up where you want to aim it. And it turns out it's not that easy a lot of the time. And then I thought the Pix ball would help me. It has actually made a difference, but simplest thing should be so easy.
Well, that's super interesting that you mentioned that, because I've seen a lot of guys, like, you actually kind of have to almost calibrate that and work on it, right? Like sometimes when you're putting, you think that you're aimed left edge, and you know, I think amateurs would be shocked at like, what do you mean? The pros know. Sometimes like you're just not aimed left edge, and you have to figure that out.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? You can hit a green like an island green from 250 with a 3-iron, but you can't aim an 8-footer up on the left edge of the hole. So you think it would be a lot easier than what it is.
It's so true. And I do think that's a really good point. Like, I don't think when you just put a straight line in a golf ball, I don't think it's as easy to line it up where you want to line it up as people think. Like, I think there's a lot of golfers that think they lined it up ball outside left, and they stand over and they're like, that's actually not lined up right, but like, I'm not going to go through the whole thing.
I have this thing, and I think I actually saw a video of John Rahm talking about this, that like, I don't use a line on my ball because when it's lined up, I feel like it's lined up too far left every time.
Yeah, so some people just go blind like it because it doesn't like mess with the head. Like it's
like I don't know if that's like a left eye or right eye dominant thing, but like if I have a putt that's a straight putt and I line up the ball, it feels like it's aimed outside the hole on the left side. It's probably because I'm so cockeyed and weird with my setup and bad, but like it's a real thing. Some guys don't use a line for that reason, right?
Oh yeah, I've done a lot. I've gone, no line on the ball, a line on the ball. I've gone 3 lines on the ball. I've gone the picks ball. I've closed my eyes when I'm putting. I've tried different putters.
I'm all messed up where I only use the line from like 4 feet and in. I can't, if I have like a 15-foot putt, that's like all feel for me, where it's like if I'm aiming way out right and I have to take this slider in, I can't use the line there because I'm like, there's no way I can even hit this to a spot that's not the hole, I guess is what my point is.
The ones that get me are like, so like Tom Kim, when he holds that like monster on 11, and it gets to like the camera gets to it for the last 5 feet and it's rolling end over end, these 3 lines. I'm like, how's he even chose a line?
Right, exactly. But the picks balls are crazy. So we didn't know, I never knew that there was any actual alignment in them until Essie or someone told us at TaylorMade Media Day. Like, no, if you actually, I thought it was just for looks. So I'm looking at these things and there were all the triangles. I'm like, holy shit. As they roll over, it's just one big line. And then now we started using that Tour Response stripe ball, and it feels like a cheat code with that big yellow stripe across it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It feels impossible to miss a putt. Yeah, I don't have any more. Essie, actually, he's on here. I've lost all of mine. I've lost them in the woods. I need a new shipment because I'm a problem with those things.
Yeah. It's good that we've got it now. Get yourself a new shipment.
Yeah. Get yourself a new shipment.
When are you heading over to? You're playing the Dunhill this week, right? And what's the flight like from Dubai, and how different are you expecting? Because I know St. Andrews is part of the rotation, right? How different will it play this week compared to what you guys saw a couple months ago?
Yeah, St. Andrews at the Open was. I fly tomorrow. I fly tomorrow morning, so I'm there for Tuesday afternoon. I quite like flying places when you're ahead of the time when you're flying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah, you feel like you're going back in time.
Yeah. Right. The Open at St. Andrews was like, you think. I would say experience on the golf course obviously does help. Like we play it every year. Play the Dunhill Links every year and everything, but like honestly, the hardest thing to describe, and it sounded ridiculous, was how tight the golf course played for like the first few days, because it doesn't matter how wide the course is, the fairways were about 150 on the stimp. So like once you had a ball hooked the wrong way or something, and you were running out most of the time, it's like 380, 390, 400 runouts. All these kind of things were coming into play that I've, never even thought of ever. And all of a sudden, like I'm playing practice rounds and there was crosswinds. I was like, it's like the tightest golf course ever. I mean, I couldn't hit a fairway, and it was really weird how it played. And then the pin positions that they could put out and that they know that they can do were obviously very different. And you still get an amazingly low score, and the standard of golf still ridiculous. But it was amazing how the course actually played, and I was pleased for it, really, because I think for a few years, people keep talking about how like the whole course is going to be, useless,
tatters, yeah,
and people are just going to destroy it. And it held up so well, and I can't remember what I shot, but I finished top 5, and it wasn't like a ridiculous score. And I was pleased for the golf course that it held up and that they could do that, and they'd had the weather in the summer that allowed them to do that. And I think, the Dunhill, we're going to have much more central pins, and hopefully the course is a bit softer, so it always plays very different.
You shot 14 under par. That's pretty good. Don't sell yourself short. You were 4 back of 3rd though, so that was a solid T4.
Yeah, I actually played great. I had I played that
5 under on Sunday.
Well, I had a really good weekend, but the first round, I was furious coming off the first round because we played in such nice conditions. It was calm, and I shot level par, and I just felt like that was such a, like on a course that I love when I was playing well. It was just such a poor score, and it was like, it was always an uphill battle from there to actually win the tournament. But I did well after that, and I played I played the stretch 9, 10, 11, 12, where, you have to be picking shots up. I played them really poor. So there was things that I look back thinking I could do better, but equally, it's top 5 in a major and you've had an amazing week. So it's like, that's the thing about golfing. You always look at what you could have done, but in reality, it was like, a great finish, played great, and top 5 in the Open. So
do you have a set partner that you play with every week in the Dunhill, or do you rotate it around?
Yeah, no, I've played with Ogden Phipps like for the last 8 years or something. So
one more time, what's his name?
Ogden Phipps. He'll be very upset that you don't know him. He's like the he thinks he's the star of the show at the Dunhill. So I'll mention that we've been talking about him. But we actually won the team event in 2019, I think, which was really, really cool.
What an event! That event's
cool event, and he's given me crap for years because I think I've missed I've had 2 or 3 chances on the last green to get into a playoff or something and missed like a 6-7 footer or something, and for forever he's telling me that I've spewed all over the 18th green every time I play the Dunhill. That I'm like, I've joked.
Ogden Phipps, American stockbroker. Learn something new every day. You guys tied with Rory and his dad that year in 2019.
Yeah, we did, but we won on. I don't even know how they figured. I'm not sure how they figured the win. I don't know whether it was like the final day, or it was like the pro score or something. I don't know, but we won it, and then he got Rory and Jerry head covers that said 2019 Dunhill Links runner up.
So you guys won the card off or something.
Yeah.
We gonna see a TaylorMade Media Day next month?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, they've invited.
Do you remember? Yeah, first time that we ever met you, I flew a drone into a tree.
I do remember that. It was drone lasted all of about 10 seconds.
It was the first shot, first day. We have to film all day from like 8 a.m. with Tommy Fleetwood until 5 p.m. with Dustin Johnson or whatever. And at 8:04 or something, I was doing this circular shot, no peripheral, and it just right as you were about to take the club back, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Luckily, we had 2 drones.
It was such a good opener. Actually, I enjoyed it very much.
Well, how about, probably one of the best things I've ever seen in real life on a golf course was, because this felt like a video game, was you saying, because you were my partner last year when we played a little bit of it, and you said, I was like, "You need your putter?" And you're like, "I don't need my putter at all," because I was at the cart still. And this guy chips in on a par 3. It was like the greatest call of all time. Like, he's like, you were actually mad I even offered the putter as you're walking up to this chip.
Well, I acted like that, and I kind of thought, I'll say a cool thing, but in reality, I was thinking I'm probably going to flub this into the trap in front of me, right of the thing, and I was like,
It's nice to know that you guys think about saying cool things around us too, because we think really long and hard about the cool things we could say around.
Oh, we grind over it.
Came out and it sounded great, and then the rest is history. Obviously, I'm glad you remember, Frankie.
Speaking of your wedges, so you go 52. You go pitching wedge 52-60, is that right?
Yeah.
So you just use your 52. Are you just a magician with your 52? Do you hit a lot of different shots basically with that thing?
Yeah, when my first few years on tour, I was such a poor wedge player, and I was such a poor chipper. I had 4 wedges. I had 52, 56. I could have had 8 wedges in, just anything. Just give me the shot that's like. And then gradually, as I got better and better, it was just easier for me to take an option out with my pitching. But also the other thing is the golf courses have changed. The last few years, I just feel like I went through a phase where the courses have just got that fraction longer, and it's not, I'm got shorter. If anything, I'm gaining like the odd yard. But all of a sudden, like you get these long par 4s or these par 5s where you have this yardage, and I'm like, I only had driver 3-wood, 5-wood, and a 4-iron, and all of a sudden, like 4-iron goes 220 and 5 was 250. I've got this 30-yard gap that I was like, well, it's never really that big a deal, like this 30-yard gap. How many shots do I actually use with it? But then found I was having it into every par 5. I was having it into these long par 4s. So I needed another club. So I started carrying a 3-iron or a 7-wood, like depending on what we were doing. And I took a wedge out just because I was, it's actually helped in a way. It's just taken options away from me. So like, I know that, it's one of those clubs. And yeah, it's helped that I've got better, but just the way the course is set up now, you just have longer shots these days. I just think it's changed.
How far does a stock 52 go, and how far does a stock 60 go? Because that must be a pretty big gap. And I know Tiger goes straight from his pitching wedge to his sand wedge, so he goes from pitching wedge all the way to 56. So you guys in these gaps, I mean, you must be able to dial it back significantly.
Yeah, so I always feel like my 60 is a 100-yard club. I want a club that goes 100 yards in my bag, because then whatever I do with that club, I can work backwards off 100. I feel like it's a whole number, and then 52 goes what might be 125 and 130. So
that's a big gap. But you're saying it's easier to take something off a 52 than take something off like a 5 would.
Yeah, I just you just need. I just feel like you need more at the top end these days, or I do. You know, I'm not I'm not one of them players that can smash it around the golf course and have less in. But like 52, I feel very comfortable getting to about like 105, and then the 60 takes over. So it works out well. And I mean, in the day we have all day to practice like what we're trying to do, so you should be.
Fair. Are you guys? You think Rory and his dad are going to show up with runner-up head covers this week?
I don't think they lasted very long. I really don't.
Cool. Well, good luck. I'm excited to watch actually the Dunhill. Dunhill is one of the best tournaments I would say to watch, especially in the States, because it's on early. You wake up. It's on before football for us a lot, and you guys are obviously playing Carnoustie, Kings Barnes, Old Course. Really fun tournament to watch.
It's such a good event, honestly. Like amazing courses, and I've been with the same guy for a long time, so we obviously have an amazing time. But it's just it's such a great time. And the other thing is, so if you look at a week like the Open, we don't get to go into the town at all. Like the week of the Open, we
too crazy.
Go back, yeah. It's so busy, and we do our thing. We go back to the hotel room. It's like it's an exhausting week as it is, and then the Dunhill's just that bit quieter. You get to go and experience the town a bit more, and everybody's that bit more relaxed. So it's it's nice to experience St Andrews like that when you can.
What's the Indian place, Frankie, that we went to?
I don't remember. I was just trying to not shit my pants after it. That's all I remember.
Incredible Indian place that Trotty from TaylorMade brought us to.
I don't do well with spice. I don't.
Trotty's got to have his.
Indian probably wasn't the best choice then.
He's got to have his uses. So.
Yeah. All right, Tommy. We appreciate it. We appreciate the time. I think first real full podcast appearance. So appreciate the time. I know it's not easy with scheduling, and we'll see you. We'll see you in October in Florida for Media Day.
But, very excited. Yeah, we'll see how many drones we can smash up.
What kind of music do you listen to, Tommy? I don't know why, but I can't pin it on you. What kind of music do you listen to?
I'm gonna guess it's got to be classic rock.
No, I'm really not into rock at all. Like
wow.
I mean, funny that people think that though. People do look.
Well, you look like you could play, guitar in like the Doors or something.
Yeah, no musical talent whatsoever. I mean, I like all kinds of music. I like chart music. I mean, R&B stuff like that. You like 90s R&B, like stuff like that would be my first choice for sure. Anything that you can move to, pretty much.
Love that. Okay. I like to know, because when I look at you now I'm going to think about you moving to R&B.
Yeah, you go. It's better than the classic rock.
Okay, good.
All right,
awesome,
Tommy.
Man.
We appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Good luck this week.
See you guys, and congratulations on the President's Cup.
Huge win for us. Huge win for us.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys.
See you, Tommy.
All right, see you, Tommy.